day 4. It was really hard today, again, for me to make my list because not a lot happened today, and a lot of what happened today was kind of irritating. So I struggled, but I did it, and yeah. So the first thing, I guess, which is gonna, I should stop worrying about if it sounds foolish or not, because it's a positive thing for me, and yeah. So the first thing, and it's kind of hard for me to explain this to people. I'm trying to cut red meat out of my diet. I feel like it does more harm than good. I don't know what just happened. Okay, mouse, stop tripping balls. What was I saying? Oh, cutting red meat out of my diet does more harm than good, and we have a lot of it at my house, and that's kind of all we had been eating for a while, and I just gained a lot of weight, and I just didn't feel healthy. I didn't feel good. I just felt lethargic and blah. So I'm cutting that out. And so I'm trying to eat only white meat. And when I say white meat, I don't want to I don't want that to have pork in it. And now people are like, oh, it's the other white meat. Well, in my mind, it's not. What I want my diet to consist of is just chicken, fish. I'm gonna put turkey in there because turkey has white meat, so it's poultry. But anyways, yeah, I had already eaten fish a few times this week, and I've had chicken a lot, so I kind of didn't really want to eat any more meat this week. But then again, we really I didn't have a lot to work with cooking, but I ended up figuring out food, and I made some mashed potatoes, and I cooked up some green beans and corn, and it was yummy. So I don't know why I'm really proud about that, but I am, because I figured out a way to get around my little food dilemma. Number 2, I kicked my ASL quiz in the patootie today. Last Thursday. I kind of fumbled a little bit. I was really out of it and messed up a few times. But today I kicked it in the behind, and that made me really happy. Yeah. And then number 3, it didn't rain horribly today. And I also, yesterday I was talking about the fact that I couldn't find my umbrella. Well, guess what? My umbrella was in my backpack. It was hiding in the deep, dark depths of the abyss that is my backpack, and I found it. So if it does rain again, suddenly, in July, I will have my backpack. Right now. Well, I might. Ignore me. I will know where my umbrella is at. That is what I wanted to say. Sorry. Number 4. What did I write? For the girls that are watching this video, guys really won't give a fucking shit about this, but for the girls, I was happy because my makeup stayed on relatively well today, and I know that sounds weird, but women will understand this, because it's a pain in the ass to have to reapply it. It really is, and then you're really worried about if you reapplied it well, or if your face is melting off, or anything like that. A lot of people in my family, including myself, we sweat a lot in our faces. Like, it just pours out. It's not really, like, back or anything, or chest, sweat, or whatever. It's in the face. So, makeup doesn't like to stay. But today it stayed relatively well. And I've heard tips about making makeup stay from hairspray to freaking cornstarch. I do the cornstarch. And I know that sounds really weird, but it does work. But if anybody else has any tips on how to make makeup stay, longer throughout the day, please leave a comment. I should also note that when I make these lists, the order in which I say them has really nothing to do with their value. I mean to say that, like, number 1 on the list was not the most positive thing that happened today. I just write it down as the list comes to mind, because, like, number 5 on this list is probably the best thing that's happened today. And I'm going to read it off to you. So, any musical nerdy people? I am a huge Poto fan, and if anybody who doesn't know what that is, you should really get an education, because that means Phantom of the Opera. That's what that stands for. Huge Phantom of the Opera fan. Read tons of books, spin-offs on it. The original is not my favorite, and I know it's the original, and that's the real story, but still not my favorite because it doesn't end the way I want it to. So I like the spin-offs more. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is that I was watching Netflix, and I watched the 2009, I think it was 2009 version at Royal Albert Hall. I think that's where it was at. And I am, people can bash me if they want to, I don't like Ramin's voice. I just don't. I don't like the way he sings. It's too pop-ish, and for this character in particular, it just didn't carry the right emotion for me. I liked the stage setup for sure. All the blocking, the costumes were fantastic. But, and this sounds really negative right now, but what I mean to say is that it's within the last 20 minutes. I think it's within the last 20 minutes. And for people who know the musical, it's Down Once More. It's that sequence. And I don't really like watching Ramin. I don't, just because his voice comes along with it. But there's something about him at this part of the musical, with his prosthetics and stuff, where there was something about his eyes and what he did with his eyebrows that made him actually really super sympathetic. And I don't know if it was just me today, but I felt really, really bad. And that was like the one part of the entire musical where I actually like felt that he had emotion within this character. And he kind of does have like this is gonna sound strange, a puppy dog face. He's got a pouty face. He has big eyes and he has a boyish face, but it kind of made him sympathetic and look really sad and pouty. And so I felt pretty bad. And then after he lets Christine go and blah blah blah, and the people are coming down, the mob's coming down, if you see the film, the one with Gerard Butler and Emmy Rossum and Patrick Wilson, at this point in the movie, Gerard, who plays the Phantom, he's singing his lines. In the entire movie, he's really good with showing emotion and stuff. But there was something about the scene with Ramin when he says to, and again, I think it's a mixture with his face, when he's singing the part to Raoul and Christine, he's saying, take the boat, swear to me never to tell. But he does this thing, which, like, I started, like, a automatic, like, electric sob thing, where he grabs his skull and screams the rest of the line, which is, the secret you know of the angel in hell, or of this angel in hell. and he screams it, and it's so crazy powerful. Tears just like flew from my eyes, not even down my face, but like out of my eyes, and I was like, ah! And it was insane. And then the rest of it, he's like going over to the steps, and he's like screaming. He's like, "Go now and leave me!" And like falls over and sobs. And I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, that was amazing. That was the only part where I was like blown away. The rest of the movie was, but like at that point, I was completely drawn in. I just love the Phantom of the Opera. Some days I have to have a Phantom of the Opera day. I do. Like, it's the story that rules my life. I am fascinated with it. If I could do a senior thesis on the Phantom of the Opera, somehow I will do it. It's fantastic. And I know a lot of people don't like musicals, and that's fine, to each their own. But if you do like musicals and you haven't seen the Phantom of the Opera, you need to frickin' see it. Because you have not lived until you, like, have seen the story and have listened to the music with the right people singing it. And then after you watch the Phantom of the Opera, you have to watch Love Never Dies, which is the sequel. A lot of people didn't know that there was a sequel. But there is. There is a sequel. And that will probably make you blubber like a baby. Anyways. Fantastic. And I also want to rant a little bit about something that's, it's been on my mind. It's been super irritating. And it happened today when I was on the Max trying to get to school. And I just have to share it with you. It's not that it made me, okay, it did kind of make me irritated. But it was just something that was so stupid that you kind of just keep thinking about it. And you're like, why? So anyways, I was on my way to school. And there is this woman on the Max who lived in Indiana and moved over here, and I'm gonna guess she hasn't lived here for that long because everything that she was saying was poo. Her mother came over from Indiana, like she doesn't live here, but flew over with her niece, and they're just visiting. And I'm sitting next to this family, okay? Right in between the family, and I'm listening to my music, right? It's kind of low, but I'm listening to my music, and I hear this woman who lives here, who also has a house in Phoenix, so I cannot say that she's an Oregonian if she lives in two places at once. I'm sorry, that just isn't how it works. It just doesn't. So, especially if you haven't lived here all your life. You're not an Oregonian if you haven't lived here all your life. But anyways, what I'm hearing her say over my headphones is the fact that Oregonians don't use umbrellas because it's a pride thing. Oregonians use umbrellas. That was one of the stupidest things I've ever heard. I've lived here all my life. We use umbrellas. My friends, they use umbrellas. We've lived here all of our lives. We use umbrellas. Not everybody wants to wear a rain jacket every frickin' day of the year. We use umbrellas. And I was just like, oh, like I wanted to take out my headphones and take out my umbrella and be like, I've lived here all my life. I'm an Oregonian. I use an umbrella. It's just stupid. And then she said that Oregon was an agricultural haven because we have Marionberries. What? What? And then we went past Sheldon Field, right? Which used to be PGE Park. I remember when it used to be PGA Park. A lot of people played baseball there. And she was saying that it's used for soccer, which it is. And it's also used for lacrosse sometimes, that I know. But she said that the Ducks play there. Like, that's the football, like the Ducks, that's their stadium. And I'm like, no, it's not. And then she said that celebrities go there. I'm just like... And she said, like Tom Hanks. I looked it up. I don't really give a crap about Oregon sports. I don't like sports. I just don't. It's not my thing. But I looked it up. Yes, Tom Hanks did show up to a Timbers game, which is kind of odd because he doesn't live here. But yeah, went to a Timbers game 2 years ago. 2 years ago. She made it seem like it was like a reoccurring thing that, oh, celebrities show up all the time. Once 2 years ago. Although I kind of wish that I would have been at that game. Tom Hanks is an idol of mine. So, anyways, that was my rant. It was just really stupid, and I was so happy when they got off the train because I didn't want to listen to her. And what was worse was that she was super confident with what she was saying. Like, didn't falter at all. And I was like, you don't know what you're talking about. You're not an Oregonian. Like, okay. But right now I'm just going to think about the Phantom and calm down. Alright. Well, tomorrow I will catch up with you with my number... I really don't know what I'm saying. Day 5. My Day 5 vlog. Yeah. Catch you on the flip side.